Welcome back. It wasn't a regular feud between management and workers. What happened at Maruti Suzuki's Manesar plant this week was all-out mayhem. A 50-year-old general manager, Avinash Kumar Dev, was brutally beaten by workers, his legs smashed and then left to die in a fire as a mob of workers went after the plant's management. His body was burnt so badly that it took more than a day to identify him, and that too through a tooth. More than 90 workers have been arrested since then, but a special investigation team is now on the hunt for the 12 main accused.
Avnish Kumar Dev's younger brother Amitabh cannot believe his brother is dead. The entire Dev family devastated. Avnish was burnt to death by labour workers on Wednesday at Maruti's Manesar factory.
News now from Manesar, the company's general manager.
And to add to the horror, the family came to know about Avinash's death through the news on TV.
न्यूज़ देखकर हमने फोन किया इनको, तो बोलते हैं नहीं, पता ही नहीं चला मिसिंग है अभी.
Avnish's death came as a fight between a line worker and his supervisor at Maruti's Manesar plant grew out of control, with workers setting buildings on fire and attacking management with car parts.
सिंपल सी बात है कि ये घटना नहीं लग रही है, ये एक बहुत बड़ी कंपनी की साजिश है और एम्प्लॉय की साजिश है, जिससे एक निर्दोष व्यक्ति की असाधारण से मौत हुई है.
लेबर्स थे, काफ़ी मतलब झड़प हो गया था और उन्होंने आग लगा दिया था और तो भैया उसमें ही इंज्योर हो गए थे और उनका पूरा बॉडी जल गया. जलने के बाद डीएनए टेस्ट हुआ तो उससे पता चला और फिर मेरे जो नंदोसी हैं अनिल जी, वो दिल्ली में जाके उन्होंने कंफर्म किया कि ये भैया हैं.
And as we look at that mayhem in Manesar, should there be a crackdown on militant trade unionism? This is actually a story that has many shades of grey as well. It's not about one side against the other. And, joining us on the program tonight, we have K. Ram Kumar, who was a friend of Mr. Dev, who died in that violence there in Manesar. He's written a very emotional email to the media today about what has happened. Mr. Manishankar Iyer and Paranjoy Guha Thakur continue to stay with us. We will be joined shortly by Gurudas Das Gupta of the CPI, and Sohail Seth joins us tonight as well. Mr. Ram Kumar, you wrote in your email today that this is not just an ordinary industrial dispute. Explain to us, your anger on this, to see your friend die like this. I know this must be a very difficult time for you, and obviously you are very angry.
I am. Avnish and I and 35 others, we shared a dormitory for many years. I can't imagine what system of justice and what system of anger will make people break a person's leg and leave him there to suffocate and burn. And I do not know what dispute resolution is this. And this is murder. Let us be very clear about it. This is murder like any mob violence, whether it is happening in a communal violence or whether it is anything. And no cause can justify this murder. And I know the criminal justice system in this country will not help us. I am here in defiance to protest against this murder of a dear friend of ours.
I'm really sorry for your loss, Mr. Ram Kumar, and I can see the very visible anger there. Let me just get to the rest of the panel first tonight. Sohail Seth, is militant trade unionism back in this country? We hadn't seen it for a very long time. Is it back?
I would go one step forward and say there is some undefinable rage that is engulfing most of India, and people, especially within the trade union movement, believe that they are being deprived of their rights. Whether that's true or false, we don't know the contours of this particular incident, but the reality is it does more damage than good. For instance, it makes states like Haryana, which is a well-developed, prosperous state, then sink into the morasses from which it won't recover. I was born and raised in Calcutta. I saw what trade unionism and militant trade unionism did to manufacturing in Calcutta, or for that matter in large parts of West Bengal, and it brought about a long spell of ruin which continues sadly to this day. It's not about conflict resolution, it's about the mechanism in which we believe that we can resolve conflict. The fact that we can take the law into our own hands, the fact that justice for those who commit these crimes is not as swift as it should be, the fact that we don't implement labor laws with alacrity that we should, the fact that firing in India is still very, very difficult. So, you have a system which is self-destructive at the core. So it's not about just the politics, it's also about the policy. It's also about the willingness to come to terms with this, because a lot of the trade union movements then fuel the political parties that exist. So they are as parasitical as everyone else. So you need a solution which is bottom up rather than top down. You won't be able to stop this with police intervention. You will not expect the politicians to react with the kind of immediacy that they should. This is something that requires urgent attention. Haryana will suffer. More importantly, Brand India will be shamed for no reason.
Brand India will be shamed. This is a self-destructive system. That is how Suhail Seth sees it. Mr. Manishankar Iyer, obviously I know you would be horrified by what has happened to this general manager of Maruti. I don't think anyone can justify violence, even if you're not being paid your wages or you have grievances with your pay. But how do you respond to what Suhail has said?
I'd first like to respond to Mr. Ram Kumar and request him to please convey to the family my deepest and most sincere condolences. I also want to say that I agree with Suhail that there are many issues involved in this which go beyond the particular incident. I certainly hope Mr. Ram Kumar will find justice in what does amount to murder and should not be condoned, and I condone no violence at all. But one asks oneself, why should a company which was so famed for its industrial relations, in that everybody had a uniform and they all sat and ate together and so forth, a Japanese work ethic was being introduced into our country, and we all stood agog trying to see how this new industrial relationship is going to be developed, become the scene of the kind of violence we've seen not only yesterday but also in several incidents over the recent past. And I think the real issue, I'm not concerned with Brand India, because that would concern people who are profiting from Brand India, which is a tiny segment of our population. What worries me is this is the expression of an immense frustration among our urban lower middle classes and the proletariat at the extraordinary inequality that is being fostered, especially in urban India. I preliminary calculations show the Gini coefficient, which measures inequality, has doubled in 10 years between the previous census in 2001 and the latest census 2011. Now, if we are going to have an economic model in which growth leads to this kind of inequality, it's bound to foster frustrations. And fostering frustrations in a democracy where everyone has the right to demonstrate and so forth will inevitably lead to this kind of violence in urban India as being in tribal India in the Naxalite areas.
Right.
And therefore I would regard this as a wake-up call that unless we put the wheel of social justice along with the wheel of economic progress, this is the kind of thing that we're going to see proliferating in both urban and in rural India. It will be a disaster for our democracy as well as our development.
I just want to get to Paranjoy first before I get to Gurudas Dasgupta. You know, there are all kinds of reports that have been coming in ever since it happened. One is about the work culture, particular plant, where workers have said, you know, that in a shift of 8 hours they got 7 minutes each in which they had to like eat, go to the bathroom, whatever. Latecomers were half a day's salary would be knocked off. At the same time, other reports say that they got a pretty decent salary of about 18,000 rupees every month. That included an incentive of about 8,000 rupees. So explain to us, what do you think has gone wrong here?
We know a lot has gone wrong. Are we moving back to the situation that prevailed in the 60s in West Bengal? Suhail was talking about that. Or in the 70s in Maharashtra? You know, I mean, Manishankar Iyer was right when he talked about the growing inequality. Look at what food inflation has done to the real incomes of people who get fixed salaries. As Manishankar rightly pointed out, here was Maruti. Interestingly, the Japanese company Suzuki now has a greater share, is controlling of the company. They took become quote-unquote egalitarian. I remember people like Mr. R.C. Bhargav saying, I wear the same uniform as the guy on the shop floor. I eat at the same canteen as them. Why then has things moved? Do you blame the militant trade unionism? Do you blame an insensitive management? Do you blame a non-functional labor department? So these kind of incidents have been happening over, not today, they've been in Haryana, in India's motor town. I mean, is it a coincidence that Gurgaon kind of epitomizes the sharp inequalities?
Yeah.
Yes, the concrete and steel structures, the malls, the fashionable restaurants, and on the other hand you see the other India, and let's all appreciate, and here I appreciate what Manishankar Iyer says, in this country's mad quest for growth at any cost. And it's interesting that he's quoting Bibek Debroy, who hates Marxists, he hates the left. If he says that inequality as measured by the Gini coefficient has gone up, has shot up in the recent past, then what we are seeing is even those who have been ideologically opposed to the left are today realizing that in the recent past, we've seen a sharp rise in economic inequality,
I don't think
which is creating
anyone denies that. I don't think anyone denies that.
Only 1 minute.
Yeah.
If suppose this particular manager made a caste slur against a particular worker, if this then, suppose what he's saying, if this results in a man being burned to death, if an attempt is made to burn down a factory, if 40 people get injured, and finally at the end of it the cops move in and it becomes a fortress, it speaks very, very poorly for the way India's Motors town and this great Maruti company.
I completely understand what both you and Mr. Iyer said, and Mr. Ramkumar wants to respond to what you said, because I think that while no one can disagree about the inequalities you've talked about, it's just so difficult, Mr. Ramkumar, isn't that, to explain that to the family of a man who actually wasn't even involved in the original altercation that took place. No one can justify it. Does it help you to understand a context, Mr. Ramkumar, or do you think you can just not justify the way this mob behaved? Do you think it was premeditated, as some reports were suggesting, that the union had come prepared to do this?
I want to make 2 points. Avnish did not use any casteist remark against anybody.
That's right, he did.
Otherwise, we will be indignifying Avnish. Second, Avnish is as much an employee and not an owner. Now, we cannot under any circumstances imagine a wage earning employee, whatever his designation may be, to be beaten to death in the manner he is. And I agree with Manishankar Iyer and Paranjoy that there is inequality in the society and we need to correct it. And I will tell you, Avnish was somebody who lived the life as a middle class person who wanted to work for the upliftment of the people who he worked for. He is a mild-mannered, quiet, gentle person. And I don't see any reason why anybody in whatever state of mind they may be to beat somebody and break his leg to ensure he cannot run away and then burn and leave a person to a cruel death. I can't understand what kind of a human being will do this.
No, I don't think that can be justified under any circumstance.
I just want to take that to Gurudas Dasgupta. Mr. Dasgupta, do you condemn unequivocally the violence that has taken place and the way the trade union behaved in Manesar?
Madam, are you cross-examining me in a court of justice, or you want to know my views?
I want to know your views, Mr. Dasgupta. I know you're very sensitive to everything.
Then don't ask me that. No, I am not sensitive. I am a senior trade unionist and parliamentarian. You must know how to talk. I make my point very clear. We condemn the brutality totally. We find no reason in burning down a man, whatever he might have done. We dissociate with all form of violence. We do not believe it is the trade unionism at all.
First of all, you must know the facts. The trade union, the union that has done this is the pocket union of the management. We had to register a union, and that union was not allowed to be registered by the management, and this is a pocket union of the management. They have done this. Secondly, please understand why there was a mass violence. It cannot be due to any remark only. There was seething discontent. There is still today. And you must know that this factory had similar incidents only few months back. Repetition of incident is in this factory. Repetition.
But Mr. Dasgupta,
And
you've
Suzuki,
condemned the violence,
please,
but the moment
please allow
you're
me,
talking
madam,
about
or I
this,
will
one second, Mr.
please
Dasgupta.
allow me. You
Mr.
must
Dasgupta, I have a question for
either
you.
you allow me or
Please listen to me patiently. Mr. Dasgupta,
please allow me.
You were
Please allow
talking
me to
about
speak.
condemning the
Then I will
violence,
answer
but the
your point.
moment you're talking about a context of
Please
seething
allow me to
discontent,
speak.
aren't you trying to
Madam,
justify it?
If you do not allow me, if you do not allow me, I am withdrawing. Please allow me to speak.
You withdraw me. Okay,
If
I
you
can't
do not allow
outshout you,
me, I am
Mr.
withdrawing.
Dasgupta. Go ahead.
Main point is, this is a spontaneous expression of violence which cannot be condoned, and the reason for this is the atrocious management, repressive management, and the total failure of the management to take into consideration the long outstanding issues that had been tormenting the workers. Number one, this is something unique in Gurgaon. Repeatedly it is happening in Gurgaon. In 2004, there was incidents in Hero Honda. After that, there has been series of incidents there. I
Mr.
agree with my friend.
Mr. Dasgupta, a man, you know,
It is
a
because of the
50-year-old hard-working,
mishandling. It is
middle-class
because of
general
the
manager of a
mishandling.
company was beaten up, his legs were broken, he was left to die, his body, he burnt to death. You know, what, can there be any context for
What you are
this?
telling me repeatedly.
I'm asking you a question
I
because you're
strongly
saying
condemn
it's a spontaneous burst of violence because of the seething discontent, because then you're giving it a certain justification, a certain context. This was murder, wasn't it?
This is definitely this is a murder, and those who are responsible should be taken to task according to the law of the land. Let them be hanged. I have no doubt about it.
Okay,
But
let me get quick comments now from Suhail. Suhail, you've heard what the panel has said so far. Then there is a larger problem here which you spoke about at the beginning as well. This is not a one-off thing, and has there been a massive mishandling of this issue by a company like Maruti Suzuki as well, because they've been having problems at this plant for a long time, and this is something that seems to be, as Mr. Dasgupta also rightly said, very unique to Haryana also in the last couple of years.
I think there are 3 or 4 things happening. Number one, you and I, or Manishankar Iyer, or Gurudas Dasgupta, or Paranjoy can't wish away this inequality overnight. We have to work systemically to try and bridge this divide. But what has also happened is another kind of class divide has emerged in India, to my mind. And I believe there's a lot of rage against what is identified as the establishment. So Mr. Ramkumar is right. Avnish did nothing wrong. But in the eyes of that mob, and there I agree with Gurudas Dasgupta, mobs by nature are uncontrollable and belong to no ideology. It's the heat of the moment. And I think Avnish represented not the owner, he represented the establishment perhaps in their eyes. The third is, Mani rightly says, very few people profit from brand India. But please remember, the growth comes when people invest in industry or agriculture or any other form of business. It comes from business enterprise. It doesn't come by sitting in parliament alone. So, you know, it's easy to trivialize brand India, but I didn't mean it in the context of people profiting. I meant it in the context of attracting investment and therefore engineering growth. And my final point is, I don't think we've heard the last of either the story in Maruti or, for that matter, what's happening in Haryana. To my mind, what's also happening in Haryana is also the North Indian brand of aggression, which we're seeing more and more. I'm not being classist, or I'm not trying to, say that the North is more aggressive than the South, but we're seeing these incidents repeatedly. In Calcutta, in West Bengal, we used to have a gherao, which was also, you gherao the person and you try and get your
But
way.
then, let me ask you,
But
and
to
this
see
is a
this kind
question
of
asked
violence-
Paran Joy and Mani Shankar Iyer as well. How do you deal with trade unions in the kind of India that you're trying to create today with multinationals coming in and growth and GDP and so on? Where do trade unions fit in all of this? How do you deal with them?
Whom are you asking?
Asking Suhail first, and then Paran Joy, and then Mr. Iyer.
No, I think as Mani said in his in his remarks, there needs to be a sense of compassion and a sense of empathy. The fact that this happened repeatedly in one company, in one particular location of its myriad plants, says something about the fact that there was something terribly wrong. But I think trade unionism should not be wished away, because the workers have every legitimate right. Management also, on the other hand, can't, I think this is abhorrent for people to be given 7-minute breaks. I mean, it's ridiculous. But do we have forms of justice or forms of remedy which implement effective justice? The labor commissioners in most of these places is either bought over by management or is effectively weak. The laws at many a time do not favor the worker. The industrialist or the management is often able to wield far greater influence, especially within small towns or within district administrations. I mean, these are the realities of India. But at the same time, Mr. Ram Kumar is right. What signal do you give out to a hard-working middle-class professional's family, saying that he gave up his life for nothing? And to be burnt in that way, to be treated and humiliated and mutilated in that way, I mean, no one expects that out of any form of trade unionism. And I agree with Gurudas Das Gupta. That is something that he, on various channels through the day, has condemned. And I think that's a remarkable step forward as well.
Okay. One must condemn the kind of violence that has been perpetrated. But let's just step back and also try and understand the circumstances. The world over, right through the 90s and the first decade of the new millennium, trade unions across the globe became progressively weaker. But what's happened is, after the Great Recession, the double dip recession is still on, we are seeing, as inequalities have widened across the globe and also in India, it's led to greater social tensions. As Suhail rightly points out, you cannot stop trade unions, you cannot wish them away. The question is, are we implementing the laws of the land? Yeah, the organized sector workers may be less than 10% of the total workforce, but they not only have every right to organize and fight for their rights, the management, any sensitive and progressive management, will realize that the interests of that corporate entity and even their goal to maximize profits lie in harmonious industrial relations. And that means you better deal with grievances and deal with them quickly and deal with them sensitively. It doesn't mean you can justify mob violence. And unfortunately, as to tell Mr. Ram Kumar, and I fully agree with what was said earlier, he became an unfortunate victim of a series of circumstances which should have been tackled much earlier. And Suhail is right. What were the Labour Department doing in Haryana? I mean, do they wait for something like this to erupt? This has been going on for months and months.
Chinmay Sen Gupta, who's sitting with Mr. Ram Kumar in Mumbai, is also with us, and also a friend of Avnish's. Mr. Sen Gupta, I know it's a difficult time for you, and it's hard for you to understand why this happened to your friend. But do you concede that this has been also an utter failure on the company's part as well, to just ignore the signs that were building up for months?
I feel, before answering to that question, Nidhi, I would like to say, first of all, this issue of the disputes not getting really resolved and then people resorting to this kind of violence, I think this is not a correct reading of the situation. In the outside society, if you look at it, many things are not happening. Many disputes are not getting resolved. But that doesn't mean that people are having a license to go and kill and do whatever they want to do. That is number one. Number two is that when we say that, okay, that when the management should be proactive or the labor should be participating, the trade union should be more responsible, it's a very joint responsibility. It's not somebody individual responsibility. That's a separate issue altogether, where the people have to come together and then say that how the process of negotiations or the process of dialogue is continued. What I would like to condemn here is the way the violence has been committed. I think it's not only the mob psychology, but it's also very cold-blooded murder. That's what I feel.
You see it as purely a cold-blooded murder. You're not. I mean, you don't want to understand a context to this. You're saying that despite whatever inequality issues we're talking about, you don't see that as a reason for this.
Context could be there. What I'm trying to say is that I understand that person, as I have been a friend of this person for quite some time. He is a very gentle person. By their own admission, the workers, some of the workers will admit that he was one of the kindest guy who was really working hard for their benefits. And then what explains that they go to his room and sort of injure him so badly and then kill him virtually. So I'm not talking about that. I'm telling that the context could be anything, but that context could be there outside as well. Why within the walls of the factory we are talking about? This context could be outside as well. And then will we justify that the context is there? There is a lot of the feeling within the pent up feeling within the crowd, and they could do anything else in the outside as well. Why we are talking in the factory only?
Well, I'm afraid I'm out of time. I'll have to leave it at that. This is a very complex issue, and I think one that does require a much longer discussion and debate, because it is not a one-off incident, I think, as we all agree, but one that has huge repercussions for the entire country as well. Thank you particularly to Mr. Sen Gupta and Mr. Ram Kumar. I'm very, very sorry for your loss, and it was really brave of you to come tonight and speak about your friend. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. That's it on Left, Right and Centre. We'll be back on Monday night at the same time. Goodbye.